Welcome back. In this section, we're going to learn about biological organization. So this brings us to what is known as the tree of life. And when we look at the tree of life, there are three different areas. In other words, everything that's alive is going to be broken up into one of three categories. And these three categories are known as the three domains of life. The first domain down, actually, let's start with over in blue on the left. The first domain over there is bacteria. Most of you know about bacteria. You've heard of strep or staph. You wash your hands when you go to the bathroom so you won't have bacteria from going to the restroom on your hands before you're going to eat. Okay. Now, if we took bacteria and took them to the X Games, those would be known as like archaea. Archaea were very ancient bacteria. They thrive in extreme environments. They like extremely hot temperatures, extremely cold temperatures, extreme concentrations of salt. They don't thrive like normal bacteria. So archaea is a different domain for bacteria than regular bacteria. They're totally separate. And then the third domain is known as eukarya. And eukaryotes, let's look at that word, eukarya. Kary is a root word that means nucleus, and the prefix eu means true. So these are organisms that have a true nucleus. So if these have a true nucleus, that means bacteria and archaea do not have a nucleus. And that's correct. Bacteria and archaea don't have a nucleus. They're prokaryotes. The eukaryotes have a true nucleus. And when we look at eukaryotes, this is where the other forms of life are going to occur. So we're going to take these three domains and now we're going to break them into smaller categories known as kingdoms. You may have heard about the kingdoms of life, the animal kingdom. Well, from the three domains, we're going to have 6 kingdoms. And at the beginning, it's very easy. In the archaea domain, we only have the archaea kingdom. In the bacteria domain, we only have the bacteria kingdom. But in the eukarya domain, we have 4 different kingdoms. The first kingdom is the protist kingdom in eukarya. And protists are the most basic of the eukaryotes. Many of them are single cell organisms that you saw in previous grade school, high school classes, your paramecium, but they also include organisms like kelp that are found in the ocean. So that's your protists. The next kingdom would be your fungus. So think your mushrooms. The next kingdom would include your plants. And by plants, I mean things that would include your ferns, your mosses, your non-flowering plants, such as your conifers, your pine trees, your redwood trees, as well as your flowering plants. So your flowering trees, your rose bushes, your daisies and things like that. And then the last group are going to be all of your animals. And so of course we would fall into the animal kingdom. So humans would be the eukaryote domain and the animal kingdom. Okay. But there's more than just domains in kingdoms when we're looking at biological organization. In fact, the taxonomy, which is the correct word, for the classification of living things has 8 levels of organization. It goes domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And so I have a little mnemonic that goes with this picture of Germany and this king taken from a deck of cards. And the mnemonic is drunk King Philip came over from Germany sloshed, so that you can remember that the domain, the kingdom are first, then it's gonna be the phylum, then the class, then the order, then the family, then the genus, and the species. And we're only going to look at this for modern humans. And I'm going to explain this classification and what it means for modern humans. So, modern humans are Homo sapiens. And so, like I said, our domain was eukaryotes and our kingdom was animals. Our phylum is the chordate phylum. What this means is we have something that's called a notochord at some point in our life. And what a notochord is something that gives rise to a central nervous system. Well, we have a brain and a spinal cord throughout our entire adulthood. So for us, it persists not only in utero, but our entire adulthood as well. Our class is that of mammals. By definition, mammals have mammary glands. In other words, we have milk to feed our young, and we have either fur or hair. So we have hair-bearing skin. We are of the order primates, which just means we are one of the great apes, along with chimpanzees and gorillas and orangutans. Okay. We're of the family hominids. And our genus is Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens just means modern man. And modern man is 300,000 years old. Okay. And hominids basically are coming off of Australopithecus way back when, coming out of Africa. That's where we branched off of, but that's not important. But anyway, here is how we get to Homo sapiens. So what I want you to notice looking at this and looking right up here where I wrote Homo sapiens, every single living organism has a domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. So they're classified in all 8 levels. And what you will notice when writing every single one, and when you go to the zoo or you go to the aquarium, the genus and species will usually be written in a little plaque next to every organism. And the species is always lowercase. And that's how you can tell that's the species of that organism. That's the only one that is written in lowercase. Okay. And so when you look at pictures like these, both of these are showing Homo sapiens. Because like I said, Homo sapiens covers 300,000 years in evolution. Okay. So what specifically is making you a modern man? What is making you a hominid? What's making you human? Well, there's 4 huge characteristics that's super important. The first is we are bipedal. We are upright. We walk on 2 of our extremities. We walk on the lower extremities. And what that does is it frees our upper extremities to manipulate the environment at all times. We're not going back and forth between 4 and 2. The second thing is we have opposable thumbs. What that means is our thumbs can touch all of our other digits. That allows us to grasp. And in fact, when we are taught to write, when we are taught correctly, we hold our writing implement between our thumb and our second digits, and then usually rest it on our third digits. And yes, I know some of you fist it more rather than holding it taking advantage of your opposable thumb. The opposable thumb allows us to have much finer control of the environment. The third characteristic is we have a large brain for our body size. Please note, this is not the same thing as saying we have a big brain. When we look at other species of hominids, not Homo sapiens, but other species, Homo erectus, other ones, had larger brains than Homo sapiens. Okay, so we don't have the biggest brains of all, but for our body size, we have a large brain. And the fourth one is we have very complex language skills. Not only do we have an oral language, we have a written language. We have multiple different languages. We have sign language, okay? We have a language that can be done with flags. We have a Braille language. We have English, French, Spanish. We have 100+ different languages. So we have a very complex language. Okay. And with that, we are done with this section on biological organization. So once again, use your study skills before you go on to the next section, and I will see you soon. Thank you.